And welcome back for another crochet stitch tutorial. So in this tutorial I am going to show you guys how to do the spike stitch. So as you can see from this pattern that I have here, we get these neat little drop stitches, it looks like here. Yeah, I think it's a really neat pattern, or stitch I should say. It gives it a little bit of a uniqueness. And I used a multicolored yarn, but you can also use this with different colors. So for each row that you're gonna do the spike stitches in, you could change to another color. So then a new color would be on top of another color. So that looks neat as well. I will put a photo of what I'm talking about in the description so that you'll know what I mean. But I thought with this multicolor yarn it looked pretty neat as well. So what I have done here is I've done a chain of 30, which then ends up with a result of 29 stitches across. So what you have to do initially when you start this is you're just going to crochet a 6 rows of single crochet. So once you have the 6 rows of single crochet, then you can start doing the spike stitch. So I've already done my chain 1 and I've turned to my work. So we're just going to start here. So the first thing that I do is I do a single crochet just in the first stitch. And then this is where it gets a little bit different. So instead of going into a stitch, we're actually going to go into a space into the row. So if we look at our next stitch here, which is right here, and we turn it around, we're actually going to go into the space that falls in underneath it. So we're going to insert our hook into that space, and then we're just going to come up and we're going to pull up our yarn, and then we're just going to kind of bring the yarn to the top, try not to let it bunch in behind there, and then we're just going to pull through, and that's our first spike stitch. So to do the next layer, we're going to look at our next stitch here. Get my hook out of the way. So we have this stitch here, and we're going to just go down to the space that falls underneath it. Just going to kind of get up close here so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this is our stitch here. We are going to go into this space right here. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook into the space. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to draw our yarn up so that it sits above the top of your project or your work. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so for the next stitch, we're going to go down another level. So we're going to work into this space here, this one right here. So we're going to put our hook in, come up from behind, pull up the yarn, and then just let it come to the top. You might have to work with it a little bit just so that it sits at the top of your top stitches there. Okay, and then we're going to do the next one. So next we're going to go into this space right here. I'm going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, and then we just kind of pull that so that we're above the top row there. And then just pull through. So we're really just doing a single crochet. It's just that because we're going down by rows, it gives us this neat little spike stitch. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times. Good. We're going to drop down to the next row. So that's going to be, and you do really need to pay attention as you do each one. Even I've had to frog my work because I haven't, because I've missed the space. So yeah, it can be a little bit tricky at first, I found, but once you get going along, it gets a little bit easier. So now we're going to go into this space right here, this one here, show you with my hook. Okay, so we're just going to go into the space, pull up our yarn, and then again, just kind of let your yarn guide up to the top there, and then we're just going to pull through. Okay. So now we're going to do the last one to complete that section of spikes. So again, we're going to drop down to another row into the next space. So we're looking at this one right here. So this space right here. And we're just going to insert our hook and then pull up and let it come to the top there, and then just pull through. And that is the first start of our spike stitch. Okay, so then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do a chain, or sorry, we're going to do a single crochet. We're not at the end of the row yet. We're going to do a single crochet, and then you're just going to start that same process again. Okay, so you're going to go, instead of going into the stitch itself, we're going to go into the space underneath. Pull up the yarn, come to the top. Okay, and then we're going to do that again into the next space, but another row down. Okay, and once more, we're going to go to the next row down, grab our yarn, and come up. Okay, so that's our third one. So now we're going to go to the next one with another row down. So now we've done the 4. So we're going to go to the next row, which is right down in there. Pull up our yarn, bring that to the top so that we can pull through. And then we just have our last one, which is in that next row down in the space. We're going to pull that up to the top and then pull through. And there we've completed our next one. And then you're just going to do a single crochet into that next stitch. And then you're going to work your way across, repeating that same pattern again. And then until you get to the very last stitch, that's going to be a single crochet. And then you'll chain 1, and then you'll want to do 6 more rows of single crochet. And then that should finish off, depending on if you're making a washcloth or whatever you choose to do it for. This is just kind of a swatch that I wanted to show you. My intention was to have it be a nice little dishcloth. But yeah, so you just do 6 rows of single crochet, and then you start working in the spike stitch. So again, I'll show you one more time. I might go a little bit quicker this time, just so that I'm not boring anyone with my repetitiveness. Okay, so we're going to go into the next space. So we're not going into the stitch, we're going into the space underneath. Just doing a single crochet. So again, we're going to move over to the next space down. We just got to pull the yarn to the top. So we'll do that again into the next one. And bring that up. Okay, so that's our third. So now we're going to go into the next one. So now we're going to go, we're doing our 5th one now. So we need to go to the next stitch down, find that space that's one below the last one we just did, and go into that space. Bring it up to the top. Okay, and then we just need to do one more. And that finishes off that part. So again, do another single crochet into that next space, and then you're just going to finish off with the final 6 spike stitch. Okay. So I did that one into the same one, so this is what I mean, like it gets, so we need to go into this one right down there. So the end does get a little tricky for this last spike because we're kind of at the end now. So we're going to go into this space here. So you just kind of gotta maneuver it so that it's kind of not bunched up in the corner there. So that was our last one, and then we're just going to do the single crochet into the last stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work, and now we're just going to do 6 more rows of single crochet. And then once you completed those 6 rows of single crochet, then you should be back to that one side there where you can start doing the spike stitch again. All right, so I thought this was a fun color, a fun stitch, so I hope you enjoyed. Again, please leave photos of, the projects if you've completed it or tried it, or maybe you've already done the spike stitch. I'd love to see other people's work. I think it's fun to, see other people enjoying this hobby or craft. It's definitely very relaxing and enjoyable. I really enjoy making these videos and continue to make more. So this is this week's stitch of the week. It is the spike stitch. So I hope you enjoy. Give it a like, drop a comment, and I will see you in the next video.